Let's bring in Lara Trump, former senior advisor for the Trump campaign. And we have a big announcement. She is a new Fox News contributor. Welcome to the family, Lara.
Yay, thank you.
Yay. So for the folks at home that don't know you, they see you, they know that you're married to Eric, and y'all have these two beautiful children. But tell them a little bit about your life, where you grew up, what you're like, and what you plan to do here at Fox.
Well, I'm so excited, first of all, to be joining the Fox family. I sort of feel like I've been an unofficial member of the team for so long. You guys know it was kind of a joke. Over the past 5 years, I would come there so often that the security guards were like, maybe we should just give you a key. So to be a part of the team, I'm so excited. But I grew up in North Carolina. I grew up in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. My family still lives there. And I moved to New York about 14 years ago, and that's when I met my husband, Eric. I never expected to be part of a family like the Trump family, certainly never expected to have the incredible opportunities that I've had, one of them obviously being now to be part of the Fox News team. So I'm so excited, I'm so honored, and really looking forward to what's to come.
Yeah, indeed. And although I read just a couple of days ago you were still considering running for Senate in North Carolina.
Yeah, well, Fox has been very generous with me, and they have said, look, if that's something that you ultimately decide to do, they're going to work with me on that front and make sure that everything, all the rules are followed and we do everything properly. So thank you to the Fox team for allowing me to have, you know, the possibility that that's in the future. So I still haven't officially, Steve, made a decision, but hopefully sometime soon.
All right, so let's move on to one of the reasons why you're valuable is your position on the big stories of the day. You know, during the campaign, no one was really talking about illegal immigration to a great degree because the border was pretty settled. The big debate was on the wall, and it was financed. They took that money, they're not spending it. They took the wall that was built, they're storing it or destroying it. And now we're seeing an all-out invasion on our southern border. They even have to take guards from the north and bring them down to the south. Here's Jen Psaki trying to explain our way through why it's okay for kids to come.
At this point, in terms of allowing access to Border Patrol facilities for reporters, you are being less transparent than the Trump administration.
Well, first of all, Chris, the Trump administration was turning away kids at the border, sending them back on the treacherous journey, or they were ripping kids from the arms of their parents. We're not doing that. We are committed to allowing cameras into the Border Patrol facilities. Absolutely.
Treacherous journey, ripping kids from parents?
Yeah, I mean, totally ridiculous. Obviously, none of that was the case. In fact, we had the most secure border under my father-in-law, under President Donald Trump, that we have had in decades. And I think the best thing possible is to discourage people from making that really dangerous, awful journey north through our southern border. The problem is that the Biden administration has said, well, if they come, we'll take you in. So guess what's going to continue to happen? You're going to continue to have all of these children, you know, flooding our southern border. It is so sad. It is so hard to watch. But we have to get this under control. This is not fair to these kids. It's not fair to Americans who are footing the bill now. $86 million to pay for hotel rooms for illegal immigrants, people that are breaking our law, coming to America. We are paying $86 million for hotel rooms. Yeah. It is totally unacceptable. But you know what? We don't expect to see that change because this seems almost like it's part of the Biden plan, sadly.
Well, you know, Laura, as we look at these images that Ted Cruz, I think, took over the weekend inside that facility at Donna, Texas, they are horrible. And of course, when your father-in-law was president, they referred to conditions much nicer than that as kids in cages. But you know what? I don't think the people there, and I don't think the Democrats, for the most part, mind those particular overcrowded conditions because they know that everybody in that facility is going to wind up getting released into the United States. They are being processed. Next stop, Anytown, USA. So it's just the price you have to pay for them to get into the United States.
Yeah, well, and it's total hypocrisy. You bring up a great point. the way they covered this under the Trump administration versus the Biden administration is total hypocrisy. Where is the outrage from the folks on the left? Where is AOC down there doing a photo op crying in front of a wall? Because I have news for her. It is much worse right now than it ever was under the Trump administration, yet it has been crickets from those folks. And I think it tells a very scary story. They know that they have millions of illegal immigrants coming to America. They are trying to change our voting laws. They are hoping one day that all of these folks can go in and vote with no ID, because that's one of the things in H.R. 1 that they're proposing. These are their new voters, and it is a terrifying prospect. If we let everybody just free flow over our southern border, guys, we lose our country. It is a very, very scary thing we've seen going on.
Yeah, I know your father-in-law worked really hard to get the vaccines, and that was Operation Warp Speed. But Democrats, Joe Biden and his administration, refused to give him credit. Watch this.
There was no national strategy or plan for vaccinations. In many ways, we're starting from scratch.
2 months ago, this country didn't have nearly enough vaccine supply to vaccinate all or ever near all of the American public.
Does former President Trump not deserve any credit on vaccines?
Making the progress that was made, and we've said this publicly, that was made on these vaccines was a Herculean, incredible effort by science and by medical experts. And certainly we have applauded that in the past, and we are happy to applaud that again.
But then there's Dr. Anthony Fauci. He's taking credit for it. Listen.
When I saw what happened in New York City, almost overrunning of our healthcare system, it was like, oh my goodness. And that's when it became very clear that the decision we made on January the 10th to go all out and develop a vaccine may have been the best decision that I've ever made with regard to an intervention as the director of the Institute.
Lara, what's your response to that?
Well, it's almost hard to watch that without laughing. And with all due respect to Dr. Anthony Fauci, it was President Donald Trump and Operation Warp Speed that allowed us to get to this point right now where we have so many millions of people vaccinated across the country. We're headed towards herd immunity. I have been in the presence of my father-in-law when he would get a call from the folks that were developing these vaccines, and they would say, we don't know if it'll be ready. And he would say, go back to work. We need this vaccine. We need a safe, effective vaccine to get America back up and running. So I don't know sort of what fantasy land Dr. Fauci was living in, but it was under the direct direction of President Donald Trump that we got these vaccines. And thank God we did, because America is finally starting to come back. I think people are starting to feel like this nightmare might be over, but I give full and 100% complete credit to President Donald Trump.
So Laura, what do you can you give us an idea of what's going on in Mar-a-Lago? We know the president gave an impromptu speech at a wedding over the weekend. Had a tux on, and he started talking a little bit about politics. We also know that he's considering going down to the border. He said he's been asked to go in the next 2 weeks. You getting the sense that he's getting set to run again?
Well, I'll leave that announcement up to him if that's something that he ultimately decides to do. But it's really hard, I think, to see sort of the disaster that has ensued since Joe Biden took office. Whenever you set things up so well and stay silent. So, I know the Border Patrol wants to have my father-in-law come down to the southern border. I mean, he was the person that really turned things around down there and really got us, in such a better spot with illegal immigration in America. He did give a speech at a wedding. Eric and I were there over the weekend. He was so happy to be there. But look, he is doing what he feels he needs to do. He's standing up and continuing to speak out for the 75 million plus Americans that voted for him. He has not forgotten about them. They will not be left behind by President Donald Trump. And quite frankly, it's one of the reasons that I'm so happy now to be part of the Fox family, because I hope every single day I can represent them here on Fox and make sure that we are transparent, because quite frankly, the Biden administration is not. We need to call them out for their failures. My father-in-law will continue to do that, and I will continue to do that here on Fox.
That's right. If people missed the very beginning of the segment, Lara Trump has joined us. She's now the newest member of the Fox News family.
Welcome to the family, Lara.
Thank you, guys. So great to be with you.
We'll see you at the Christmas party.